Can you guys hear me without the microphone? Yes? It's good? Okay, great. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming at this time of the day. Today we're going to have a presentation, a short, hopefully, presentation about my IFOM experience, which presents all 5 of us, but one of us is sitting there, actually. He just said too many speakers. Before I start, I want to make sure that everybody hears me and it's all clear. English is all right. And I want to tell you that you guys have these cards at your seats. They have questions. You can write your questions on them if you feel shy, or so that you won't forget, because you will only be allowed to ask questions at the end of the lecture. The questions can be in English, Ukrainian, Russian, the language you prefer. She's going to translate.
Вся лекція буде англійською мовою, але дискусії і питання можуть бути українською, англійською, російською. І якщо хтось соромиться чи думає, що питання некоректне або якесь незрозуміле, то напишіть його на листочку і передавайте сюди мені, і ми вже будемо намагатися дати відповіді на всі ваші запитання. Дякую.
Thank you. So, my IFOM experience. This is the agenda we're going to discuss during this presentation. Basically, it's about what is IFOM, how to prepare for IFOM, and what are the benefits of IFOM. Okay? So we're going to start. What is IFOM? Anybody knows? That's why we're here, I guess. IFOM is the International Foundation of Medicine. It's an exam that measures the core knowledge of students on an international level, to assess their education and training level. So it's a comprehensive test that's created by the NBME, which has a committee, IFOM special, that only has one specific target, is to create vignettes that can assess the examinees, which are the students in this case, on their level, on their medical knowledge. That's simple. This information is found online, actually. It's not that I'm making it up. How does it compare? How does the IFOM compare to the USMLE? Now, obviously, from the names, IFOM is International Foundation of Medicine, and USMLE is United States Medical Licensing Exam. The United States is also sponsored by the NBME, but also by the FSMB, which is a Federation of State Medical Boards. The content blueprint of the IFOM and the USMLE are similar, but they're not the same. They're analogs. They're not identical. And to the level where the majority of the questions that are found in the IFOM are actually taken from the USMLE, and then they are internationalized, or depending on the country you're going to pass from. In this case, for Ukraine. Also, a major difference between both is that the IFOM is shorter as an exam, and it costs way less. The IFOM is $150, and the USMLE is $1,200 per take. Registration. For the registration, how we did it during last year, where there were only 3 sessions during the whole year, you have to be, first of all, for clinical knowledge, you have to be a 6-course student at least. Registration is made individually. It doesn't go through university. You have to go to this website, testcenter.org.ua, and follow up on the page, because before the test session, they open registrations for a short period of time. By a short period of time, it means that the places will be gone. So you have to keep in mind that when you want to do registration, you have to be fast, smart, and quick about it. You need basic information about, like, your own information, personal information, like your ID, your name, your passport if you're a foreigner, or postvidka also. But additionally, you need special information from our university that's regarding your CROC information, your CROC ID number. It's the number, it's not exactly the code that they give you where you can check your results online. It's an actual number. It's 9-digit number. And your CROC results, which basically you get as a percentage, but you should have it in points. It's a result in points. For example, I had 280. That's how it is. And again, as I said, the cost is 150. Okay. The exam structure, it comprises of 160 multiple choice questions, the whole exam. And it only assesses you on these following subjects, the major 5 subjects: family medicine, underneath that there's statistics, epidemiology, and social medicine. There's also obstetrics, gynecology, psychiatry, and surgery. The duration of this exam is 4 hours and 30 minutes, including break. So approximately you will have about a minute and a half per question. Further, we have on the exam day. On the exam day, the exam starts actually, first of all, you do it in Kiev, not in Vinica. The exam day starts at 10. You have to be there earlier, at 9:30 at least. You have a cafeteria outside where you can wait. And basically, before you go into the exam, they call you on alphabetical order, depending on who you're with. For my case, I was number 4, so they called me 4th. I took off all my things, I put them on the side, I showed them my passport, and then they told me that I have to be checked, security check. You go through a metal detector. They also checked my glasses, by the way. That's how serious it is, yeah. So when you get seated on your personal computer that you have to sit in, you have a 15-minute tutorial for how you can use the computer during the exam. That also can be found online. But if you want, you can go through it or not. You can skip it, and then you start your exam. You start the first part with 2 hours, where you have 80 multiple choice questions, and that's 2 hours on the dot. The computer starts counting down once you start. When that time is over for the first part, you have a 15-minute break after that. It's optional, but I highly recommend it, because you will be sitting for 2 hours. The seats are comfortable, but you need to get out. You need to breathe. You come back. When you come back also, they check you again. So keep in mind, it's not 15, it's 10. So you come back and you do the second part, which is also 2 hours and 80 questions. When you finish with that, the hardest part is over. So you can have, after that, they can ask you for a feedback, also optional, you don't have to do it. And this is actually a picture of the hall where you will have the exam. This is where you will be seated, or this is where we were seated. After that, when you finish the exam, 48 hours, in 48 hours you will have your results. It can go up to 10 days, working days. So, but we all got it in 48 hours, right? Right. Okay, now the interesting part. All that was easy. How to prepare for the IFOM. I'm going to start about talking about question bank platforms. I only chose Ambus and New World because that's how we prepared, and we were able to compare both these platforms. There are other platforms that are available today, but in our opinion, we think these are the best. So Ambus and UWorld. I'm sure some of you heard about them. I made this table to compare both of them. When it comes to question banks, Ambus can offer you 2,100 questions, but only for the clinical knowledge. There is more than that, but for clinical knowledge, it offers you 2,100. UWorld offers you more, and that number keeps increasing. Their question difficulty is similar, and their question difficulty is similar. When you do these questions in the Q Bank, you have questions and their explanation. I will show later on how they actually work by taking AMBOS as a example. After this presentation, if you're interested, it will be here. Both platforms allow you to write notes, but not both can give you flashcard options, which is unfortunate. But you can have apps now on your phone that can allow you to create your own flashcards, and you can study and prepare easier. They both have performance analysis, which is very good. I think many people know these platforms as offline platforms. I'm sure the students know about this. The offline doesn't give you any benefit regarding performance analysis by giving you your weak points and your strong points, what you should work more and what not. AMBOS has an upper hand on UWorld with the library. It's very hard to explain it for you, but after this lecture, again, as I said, I will show you how this library actually works, because we're going to do another small 5-minute presentation about it, with an example of questions. Both applications are available on smartphones, tablets, and computers. And then there comes the interesting part, where their price. UWorld is very expensive compared to AMBOS. But it comes back to everyone. You can check them online if you're interested to subscribe. Okay? I'm gonna finish with my part right now and give the podium to my colleague Masuku, who's gonna continue about how to prepare for the IFOM. Thank you.
Thank you. Right back then, right? Oh, okay. I want to mix them together with the phone. That's all right. Oh, you put it the other way around. Okay, good. So, hello everyone. Can you hear me from here? Okay, that's good. It looks like you guys are so down and tired and exhausted already. Just cheer up, smile, and pay attention. I'll be brief, okay? I won't waste much of your time. Anyways, as you heard before, my name is Nkosi. I'm from Zimbabwe, and I'm a 6th-year medical student. And I'm super glad that I've had this opportunity to give up this presentation, or just present this lecture to you, so as to, help you and get to engage you into knowing about how I exactly prepared for the IFOM exam. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is that I'll brief you on how the online videos are supposed to be used. And then afterwards, I will explain to you what review textbooks are and give examples. And at the end of it all, I'm going to give you a summary as to how you're supposed to join the resources together and use them in harmony so you can ace IFOM, okay? So the first resource is the online med-ed videos. Online med-ed videos. Online med-ed videos are videos that were produced by Dustin Williams. And secondly, we have the Kaplan videos, right? Right. So for the videos, I'll start off with Kaplan. As you can see, that's the Kaplan logo. What is Kaplan? Are there any of you that know what Kaplan is? You do? That's good. All right, so Kaplan, it's a series of medical videos that prepare one for the USMLE as well as the IFOM. As you know, I know Ashraf explained to you the differences between USMLE and IFOM, you should know that these two exams are like brothers, but IFOM is the little brother. So even though it's the little brother, you would have to prepare for IFOM as if you are preparing for the USMLE. It's better that way, okay? So why Kaplan, right? The Kaplan videos are internationally accredited, right? So the information that they give when it comes to the medical sector is accurate, it's on point, it's up to date, right? Kaplan is also informative and bulky, which means it can be used to prepare for classes, right? So when you're watching the Kaplan videos, they stimulate your visual memory as well as your auditory memory. And as you know, about 40% of people retrieve information better through videos, right? So that's why it's wise not only to use textbooks only when you're studying, but to use videos as well, so as to what? Stimulate the visual memory and the audio memory as well. So they're good for preparation for classes, and they will enable you to impress your teachers, you know, in the hospitals there or in the university, okay? And also the Kaplan videos are actually presented by top class and board certified lecturers. I'm pretty sure most of you know guys like Conrad Fisher, Charles Fasalis, Carlos Pestano, etc. Okay, so those are the guys that actually produce the Kaplan videos, and they're really on point, up to date, and exceptional. Right. Now, if you want to find the Kaplan videos, you'd have to go to www.kaplan.com, and you'll be able to get full access to all the videos. But what I want you to understand is that you would have to subscribe in order to have full access to all these videos, okay? I understand the fact that there's some teaser videos that you can find on YouTube, but for you to get full access and all the information, you'd have to subscribe to the Kaplan Academy and pay some money for it, okay? Next platform, the online method videos. That's the logo there, right? The cat with the stethoscope, right? So it's also a series of videos that prepare one for the USMLE and IFOM, since USMLE and IFOM are brothers, okay? Why online method? Online method, just like Kaplan, is up to date, right? Which means the information is really, you know, it's really modern, right? As you know, medicine is a very dynamic profession, okay? Medicine is always changing. The first antibiotic that was discovered was penicillin, right? But are we using penicillin only right now? No. We've got a whole lot of other antibiotics that we're using. The cephalosporins, the macrolides, right, etc. So online method would help you a lot when it comes to that. And now online method also, it's short, precise, and straight to the point. So Dustin Williams, the guy that presents the online method videos, he never wastes your time, okay? He just gets straight to the point and tells you what you're going to see specifically in the medical exam, right? In the IFOM exam, so to say. So you'd have to pay attention to the things that he says in the videos. And also, the online method videos prepare you specifically for the exam, okay? Specifically for the exam. That's why I'm telling you that the online method videos are not good when you're preparing for your classes. I told you that Kaplan videos can help you very well to prepare, you know, for the classes, like in the university and at the hospital. But for online method videos, do not use them to prepare for classes. Just use them specifically to prepare for the exam, because they're short, precise, and straight to the point, right? And one of the advantage about the online method videos is that all the videos are free, okay? So just get on Google, type www.onlinemethod.org, and you'll be able to gain full access to all the videos of Online Method for free. So you do not need to pay a penny, okay? Now lastly, I'll talk about the review textbooks, okay? But before I do that, I have to explain something to you. In the medical sphere, there's something that we call review textbooks, right? Like Master the Boards and Step Up to Medicine. And then we have what we call reference textbooks. There's a difference. Review textbooks are textbooks that prepare you specifically for an exam, right? But reference textbooks are the textbooks that you use to prepare for class. They're the textbooks that are used to increase your knowledge. They're the textbooks that are mainly used by specialists. For example, in the internal medicine section, we have Davidson's or Harrison's. You are not supposed to use those textbooks to prepare for IFOM. No. You're supposed to use Master the Boards or Step Up to Medicine, because those textbooks are just too voluminous, okay? But these review textbooks are just straight to the point. They're just 1, 2, 3, you get the concepts, you go to the exam and you ace it, okay? Then for surgery, we have Bailey and Love, right? Do not use Bailey and Love to prepare for the exam. Just use it when you're going for classes and to increase your medical knowledge. For obs and gynae, we have Williams, right? And it's a reference textbook as well. You're not supposed to use it to prepare for the exam. And for the surgery department, we have Bailey and Love, right? It's a reference textbook. You're not supposed to use it to prepare for the exam, but you are supposed to use it to improve your knowledge, okay? Now, like I said, review textbooks are meant to prepare you specifically for the exam. So we've got 2 of them, Master the Boards and Step Up to Medicine. I personally used Step Up to Medicine, so it's my preference, right? But if you go online and check for some reviews from other students from the United States, Canada, etc., there's a big debate. It's like 50-50. Master the Boards is really good and Step Up to Medicine is really good. So it's up to you, okay? So why are these review textbooks? Like I said, they're great reviews from previous users, okay? They are short, they're precise, and straight to the point, right? So when you open these textbooks, for example, Step Up to Medicine, you just see that it's written in point form. Okay, what is myocardial infarction? Myocardial infarction is 1, 2, 3. Diagnostic tests, 1, 2, 3. Clinical presentation, 1, 2, 3. Treatment, 1, 2, 3. If sure, nothing else, okay? Also, the review textbooks are up to date, okay? And that's what you need. You do not want textbooks that are going to be telling you about trepanation, right? Like drilling of, like, a hole in the skull so that some evil spirits can, exit through that hole. Yet all you were supposed to do to treat that flu is to just take oseltamivir, okay? Also, these 2 review textbooks, Master the Boards and Step Up to Medicine, they have board-style questions with accurate and insightful explanations, okay? So you can read the concepts and you can use like the questions that you found in the textbooks to check whether you understood the knowledge that you were reading. Then also, the last point is these textbooks, they ensure a little bit of success in classes, as they enhance the understanding of medical concepts and medical algorithms as well. But of course, for you to get more knowledge, you would need some reference textbooks for that, right? So in summary, how are we supposed to use UWorld, AMBOS, the videos and the textbooks? Okay. Take your Step Up to Medicine, read a chapter in cardiology. It should take you about 1 day max, right? Finish the cardiology section in Step Up to Medicine, and then afterwards review the cardiology section using online method videos since they're short and precise. And then after doing all that, go straight to UWorld or go straight to AMBOS and practice the questions, since the key is in the practicing of questions more. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. I will now
And I am Vignesh Chenna, and I'm going to present to you about what are the benefits of IFOM. So let me start off with a question, like, do any one of you know, like, what are the primary benefits of IFOM? Yes. It's a good point as well. Okay, but so whenever we do some exams or whatever in life, we expect some benefits. So in the same way, IFOM also has a lot of benefits because every exam you do has all its pros, and that is actually very good for even your career as well. So So first of all, IFOM exam is used by medical schools or by internship or residency programs, or mainly the Ministry of Health or Education for various purposes. And in case of Ukraine, it is the Ministry of Health which are using it now. And then the next benefit is that it tests the students' knowledge in their particular phases. So if you take IFOM exam, there are two parts. IFOM Basic Science and the IFOM Clinical Science. So the IFOM Basic Science, it sums up your preclinical and paraclinical subjects, and your IFOM Clinical Science sums up all your knowledge about the clinical subjects. And then it also selects candidates for training such as internships, residencies, or even for exchange programs. So if you see internships or residencies, it will be Qatar and Lebanon, which I will be telling you a little later, and about exchange programs in the US. So, and to move on, it also helps in regional and national certification. In the case of when you do this, it acts as a licensing exam. And then it also helped to evaluate the curriculum and assessments. And this was recently done by the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, where the fourth year students wrote about basic science, and they would evaluate how the medical curriculum is. And also they benchmark the students for programs and against the international standard. And the reason for why do they benchmark the student on an international standard is that the examination committee of IFOM consists of professors and representatives from 9 countries. So IFOM exam is actually gives a lot into a global health trend. So it assesses yourself into how much are you into the global health sphere. And last but not the least is that it prepares yourself to USMLE Step 1 and Step 2. So because it is a mini USMLE exam, that's how we can say that. And even students in the American universities, if they are not confident about their to go into the USMLE exam, they first take the IFOM and then go into USMLE, because that even really boosts up your confidence. And then regarding the known benefits, so if you see that First thing is self-assessment. So if it's self-assessment, you are read so far like for 6 years, and then even for clinical science for the last 3 years, and you have to really, it gives you a step forward into your clinical thinking, and even if you're going into the wards with your professors, it would be very useful because it will step up your clinical thinking. And the second benefit, the known benefit, is that if you get a score of more than 602, you will be certified as you will get a certificate of clinical competence. So just think about, if you have a certificate of clinical competence, wherever you go, you will have an upper hand whenever you apply for any programs. And third benefit is that no croak. If you pass clinical science IFOM exam, if you score more than 425, but that is subject to change every year because it depends upon the international percentile value, which means that it actually assesses everyone all over the world, whoever writes the IFOM exam and whoever takes the highest score, and according to that, this score would be predicted every year. And the next known benefit is that for internship and residency programs in Qatar and Lebanon. So if you see Qatar, like it is the Hamad Medical Corporation, which takes students into internships and residencies. So there you have the information where if you score like more than 502 in your clinical science, and then if you have your IELTS exam or your TOEFL exam for your English level, and then you can get into the residency or the internship programs, but the upper hand is given for the citizens of Qatar, but even there are seats for international students as well. And when compared to Lebanon, there is a university, American University of Beirut, and there also they use IFOM score, and for that the score should be more than 502, and then you should have your TOEFL or your IELTS for your English level. And then for the state exam of Ukraine, because now you know that state exam is objective structured clinical exam, that's what we call as OSCE. So when you have prepared for IFOM, you will be like, you will have a lot of clinical thinking. So even for answering your situational tasks and other things, it will really speed up your clinical task clearing. And observership and exchange programs in the US. So when you like exchange programs are like you go for 1 or 3 months where you do your exchange programs for like maybe in terms of research or even in terms of internship or even in terms of observership where you don't have a hands-on experience but you just have just you observe what the doctors do, and for that, if you have your IFOM score, they take up you as a higher candidate than the rest of the candidates. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. And let me hand over the podium to Olya.
Questions now, you can have our contact information and contact us via email, so that's how we can keep in touch. And if you want, we can also send this lecture to your email if you want this one. Anybody have a question? Yes, please.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the lecture. It was indeed very informative. My question is, how much of a dedicated time period did all of you give towards the preparation of IFOM?
Thank you very much for question, but it's very individual questions, but at least you need from 6 months to 3 months to prepare and to score and pass. Oh, yeah. And it depends when you want to have your exam, because it will be different sessions. It may be in autumn or in winter and spring. It depends when you will start. So at least you need 3 months, but it's better 6 to have a higher score. Anybody else? Поки я сиділа і слухала лекцію, було запитання від як можна поклацати, подивитися, попробувати ці тести для викладачів, як вони можуть. Зараз після цього буде представлений амбус, і в структурі амбуса ви можете побачити питання і попробувати їх для себе, як для викладачів. Ось, і це не так дорого, як, наприклад, UWorld. А, наприклад, за підписку за місяць трошки буде дешевше і для вас, як для викладачів. І для студентів ви можете ознайомитися з питаннями і подивитися, чи підходить для вас ця система, чи не підходить, і який рівень знань у вас є. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. Can you tell us again about the times when you take the exam? Because I think that part was missing. So if you can, because I heard some people take it in November, in February, in March, and then the registration, because on the website they had this like opening part where you have to register and then close it. So can you throw more light on it?
Normally there are 2 sessions in a year. In an educational year, normally there are 2 sessions. The dates are flexible, but usually it's at the end of November, like last 2 weeks of November and first 2 weeks of December. And the second session, last 2 weeks of February and first 2 weeks of March. Why it's like this, I don't know. But this year, we had 3 sessions. Because they noticed there are so many people that are registering and they have overbooked, so they opened a new session. And that was end of April, if I'm not mistaken.
So like, if you want to write in February, when should be like the deadline for registration?
It's not set in stone. That's why you should be always keep an eye on the test center website. It should be your best friend next year, visiting all the time. And when they post it, they tell you that in 2 days we'll open registration. At least they'll give you a mark. It's not like surprise. Now you're registered. No. Okay.
Yeah, but we can give you an example. I had my exam on 19th of February. And I finished my registration till the 1st of January. So it was done.
Started in December.
Yeah. Started in December and it will be announced, so till February you will have a chance. But Ashraf already told you that it's important to be very smart and quick, because there are different dates of, for example, whole February. It can be 5th, 7th, 11th, and so on. But if you want to pass this exam, you will choose the later date, because anyway you need a bit more time, you know. So the latest date, they always overbooked. So try to be first one to have the nice place. Any other questions?
Who wants to add?
I had something there in your basically Facebook page for test center of Ukraine. So just like and follow it and keep the notifications as the first notification, so that you will get all the updates there very fast.
Yeah. Please.
Thank you. My name is Kaplan. I would like to congratulate all the presenters for their success in IFOM. During the presentation, I heard about IFOM almost be the junior brother of USA, and it's very good. However, I think Nkosiyabo mentioned that when you write the exams, depending on your region, it might differ. So if someone writes exams in Asia, in India, or in Africa, or the questions or the approach will be a bit different from in Ukraine.
Right, so you're asking if the questions written by the people in Ukraine is a bit different. Honestly, we do not have an answer today because we wrote like the exam in Ukraine and we don't really know the experiences of the people that wrote the exam in the United States or somewhere else. So we have no idea.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? Don't be shy, or if you're shy, just pass the question and I will read and give an answer. No? Okay, we can continue. Thank you very much.
Again, as I said, hopefully it works normally. Thank you. By the end of this session, you guys can have this activation code for 2 weeks for free for Plus. That's for everyone. So, yeah, write it down, enjoy it. This is Ambus. This is Ambus, a new educational platform. I'm going to access the library because I said before that I wanted to show it to you, and I couldn't explain it to you because it's self-explanatory. All right. Let's start with I'm going to take clinical knowledge. Okay. You see that there is a clinical knowledge for step 1 and clinical skills. We're going to stick for clinical knowledge because that's how we prepared. So I'm going to access clinical knowledge, and I would like to study neonatology today. All right? I'll open the neonatology, and I have all these topics. All right? Anybody? Neurology? Oh, sorry. Wait. Where's neo? Okay, fine. Let's go for neurology. Let's go for neurology. And I would like to study today infectious diseases that are concerned with neurology. And I have a problem with measles. I think everyone knows that. I accessed it, and it shows me everything about measles now. Here's what's interesting about it, is that, okay, first of all, it's broken down to summary, epidemiology, etiology, etc., 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 like every other platform that you know, MedEd and all that. So let's say I want to read the summary. Here's something nice about it. Let's say I forgot, I was reading, measles is a highly infectious disease. I forgot what infectious means, yeah? Let's say I forgot. If I put my mouse on it, it will just basically do the Google work for me. And infectious, we all know what infection is, right? We all know what that means. But let's say something immunization. Second-year student doesn't know what that is exactly. There we go. It will basically create it for you. Okay. Now that's, okay, Google can do that, you can say. Fine. But I prepared all of this. I read it, I did my homework, I prepared it, and I went to class. But I want to assess myself if I understood what I just read. I want to know, is this right? Ambos gives you this option where it can generate the questions that it has on this topic. It can generate it for you, like right now. And it's just, the Wi-Fi is on my phone. Sorry for the crash. University didn't give me, there, it's loading the questions. Here. So these are questions that are 95% similar to the ones that you have in IFOM. In IFOM also you have questions with pictures. You have x-rays, CT scans, everything. So this is like a dermatological question, I believe. I don't know, maybe, since it's measles, with a picture. Okay, we can read the question, but it's too long. We're not gonna go about it. And let's say I believe it's Kawasaki disease, which is answer number A. I think it's wrong. So when I clicked on it, Ambus by itself said, no, you're wrong, it's red. But it's why it's not Kawasaki disease. In this question, it will explain to you. And then it will give you that chance where you can still pick another question, another answer. Maybe, okay, you were wrong in this one, so maybe it's Emptigo. Wrong. Scarlet fever? Wrong. Drug allergy? Wrong. You can go until you find the answer, really. So, but since it's measles, we know it's measles. No? Even that wrong. There you go. See? You can't really know all the answers. Yeah. Anyhow. But no, I thought it was right. You can see, like, you know it. Like, yeah, I created an exam about measles, but measles is not the answer here. It gave you a differential diagnosis. So, okay, what is this? What is this Rosella? I don't know. You go, same thing. And if you really want to know everything about Rosella, you just click on this. It will take you to Rosella. That's it. It will open it on the side so that you will be able to answer, to continue your exam, and just do a quick refresh. Let me see what this is. All right? And then you can do it all over again. That's one good side about it, is that when you prepare for a certain topic, you have this feedback. You can generate your own questions. Okay? But there's another thing that actually gives you the same experience as when you are in the exam. Okay, because as I said, the exam is 1.5 minutes per question. You're not gonna be like, okay, let me time myself on my phone and then go back to your question. No, you can actually generate your own question session here. You can here, custom sessions up there, and then you can pick the subjects if you prefer one, or specifically, you can pick the exam that you want. In this case, step 2, right? So I clicked on it, and then if you want learning cards, and there are certain specifications. I'm not going to go into them. I highly advise you to take this code and use it. It's 2 weeks. It's valid for 2 weeks, and it's free. And then you have the difficulties and the exam mode. See? Is it study mode, where it gives you unlimited time, or exam simulation? Let me say exam simulation. It will ask you how many questions you want. Maximum is 40 per session, and it's 2,153 out of everything. If I get started, it will generate it now, hopefully, if it doesn't disconnect. And then you will have a timer. It's like, wait, is it working? See, there you go. This is how the exam looks like. But it's loading, shouldn't load. It generates this screen for you as if you're in the exam, and the timer is down here, but I don't know why it's taking long. Here are the questions. Straight like in the screen that you have in the exam. The same one. You read it, and then you answer. And then you proceed. Everything needs a click. If you're in study mode, the same thing I did before, it will just elaborate. You did this is the answer you picked, it's wrong because, it's right because, etc., etc. But at least it gives you that sort of experience where the timer is going, And you can pause it if you want, and you can end it. When you end it, you will have like a result, the same result that you will have from the exam. Well, similar to it, but it's not nuclear science. You can read it and that's it. It will tell you eventually, I'm going to go to one of my old questions to show you what analysis is, what offline doesn't give you. Where is it? I'm just going to go. I deleted most of my sessions because I lent them to a friend. So yeah, analysis gives you an overview about what you did, where you're strong, where you are strong, and where your weak points, depending on the subject. Wait, I can't find it. Oh wait, it's here. It's in the new Ambos actually. They're changing the new. They're putting a new face for the platform. Sorry, it's taking too long. My bad. Here. So you see the general studies about what's your performance right now in the whole base. Here. You have full analysis. In full analysis, it tells you how many answers you did, how many of them are correct or incorrect. So it gives you everything. What's your average time per question? How long you have actually worked. And then this is the interesting part. It tells you where you need more work. Now obviously with the results that I just came up with, it tells me that intestine, cutaneous, lung and airways, all that I don't know very well. Male genitals for some reason are the best, yeah. Which is shocking, right? So this is what online offers you, okay? And frankly speaking, Ambos has, how do you call it? They know that Ukraine has a financial problem, let's put it that way, where they gave us a discount for 50%. So okay, maybe it's a bit excessive or expensive actually to have a platform like this for 1 year for $365 a year. So that's $1 a year, right? But if you get that 50%, okay, that's half that. But if you have a friend, you can take that to half, that's 25%. 3 of you can work on one platform, it's not a problem. Also, if you can't really pay, you can just email Ambos, tell them I have issues, and they will take your request into consideration. And there you go, because Ambos actually has many people online, they give a lot of people for free, because it's a very nice platform and they want to promote it. So yeah, that's all I have about Ambos, okay? And you can have this code, you can check it out at home. There's a lot of things I didn't show you, to be honest, on it, but feel free, it's free, and enjoy it, most importantly. Thank you. That's it. Sorry, yes, question.
You know, like if you have many assignments, many assignments.
This, you mean, what? Specify your question exactly, because I didn't understand.
Do you have any information on basic science, IFOM?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you, because all the information we got here was for IFOM.
They're basically similar, but you need about the content on how to prepare and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, that's doable. Just send me an email and I'll send you everything I have. Because it's basically preparing for step 1, which we already did. Okay, any other question? No? All right, thank you very much for coming. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.